If you haven't heard about this absolutely brutal assault on a couple in Cincinnati, Ohio, something that seems to be happening, more random acts of violence all over, especially in these, and this is just a fact, sanctuary cities or blue run cities. We saw this horrific attack at Walmart, this knife wielding nut job. We have some exclusive information that you're only going to get here. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's the gubernatorial candidate in Ohio, speaks to Holly. Her name is Holly, one of the female who was the principal involved, the one who got sucker punched. It's a horrific video. I can't play it here, or else they'll delete the video or ban it or suppress it. You can see it on X. Follow me on X. I've posted all about it. I'm at Professor Nez everywhere. But Vivek Ramaswamy said that he spoke exclusively to Holly. I'm going to tell you exactly what was said to him in his statement. Also, J.D. Vance, who is becoming more and more, in my mind, cemented as the most popular candidate for 2028 presidential candidacy and race, is asked a question about it and just absolutely obliterates the narrative that is run by the Democrats about protecting these thugs and protecting this lawlessness. And really he really captures the zeitgeist of what's happening in American culture, especially in major metropolitan cities. You don't want to miss that. Also, they ask Vance about Epstein, and Trump reveals something that you can't call it, I think, to put it mildly, you just have to say controversial, in his meeting with Keir Starmer about Epstein, as well as, are they censoring his website in England? Watch what Keir Starmer reacts. But first, I want to share this. So this is Holly right here, who was absolutely laid out flat by a male, by the way, something that just keeps happening over and over again in major cities all over the world. Cincinnati is obviously run by, very staunch liberals. The vice mayor was caught on video saying, "This is not us. This is just a bunch of adults having a argument late at night in the city." It's just preposterous how they're framing this narrative. And so Vivek just posted this, literally an hour ago. Today, this is July 28th, 2025, saying, "I spoke to Holly earlier today. That is the woman tragically assaulted in Cincinnati this weekend. She's a single working mom who went to a friend's birthday party. It's unconscionable that there were no police present in that area of Cincinnati on a Friday night, or even an ambulance to take her to the hospital. Hard-working Americans shouldn't have to worry for their safety when they have a good time in our cities." Holly said not a single local or state official had yet reached out as of earlier this afternoon, other than one police detective. That is enraging. And by the way, all of their people watch this show. Vivek, White House, Carolyn Levitt. Let them know how you feel in the comments, because you have a chance to get your voice heard just by being here. And I highly encourage you to leave a comment. Leftists like to lecture about, quote, systemic injustice, end quote, while thugs turn our cities into war zones. I'm done with their excuses. As governor, I'll make sure they're behind bars, not running wild. Our cops will have the green light to restore order. No apologies. Holly appreciates the kind words and prayers from patriots across the country and hopes that publicity around her story ensures that local and state leaders clean up our failing cities. We hope to visit Holly soon as she recovers. I'll talk about what the detectives finally, from the pressure campaign of people making this go public, that video went viral of her getting sucker punched. It is just an absolute dire situation when Americans, hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, have to think and keep their head on a swivel everywhere they go. What happened to America? And these hypocrites, aka Democrats, they fight for this lawlessness. They fight for open borders. They fight for criminal thugs. They fly to El Salvador. They fight tooth and nail for these illegal criminal aliens every single day. And they claim they love America. And they have the lowest approval rating in the history of politics. Over 35 plus year low approval rating. I mean, it hasn't been this low in over 3 decades. Think about that. You think they're going to change their attitude? You think they're going to change their approach, their strategy? I think not. And I think that JD Vance really covers how all of us feel. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think, by the way, here's a free poll. Let me know. I think JD Vance 100,000% should run in 2028 and has a 90% chance, if barring any major scandal or whatever, or they cheat, is going to win in 2028. Who do you think he should pick to be his VP on that ticket? Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek, Marco Rubio, Secretary Bessent, Pete Hegseth? Ooh, that would be a good ticket. Let me know who you think in the comments. Free poll. Let's see. They see this. They watch this. Let me know in the comments down below. Here's JD Vance speaking like a true American, speaking for all of us. Watch.
What I saw, and I haven't seen the full context, but what I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they will be. They will be, so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. But yeah, I actually, you're right. Bernie did send me a clip of this, and we talked a little bit about it. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around, because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people. We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities. How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence. And the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their asses in prison.
Oh my God, I love it. I love you, JD Vance. Man, this guy just so impresses me. My fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens, the United States of America, the Constitution, the very fabric, the ideals, freedoms, values, and principles that we adore, that we cherish, that we treasure, that people sacrificed for, is in great hands. He's young, articulate, intelligent. He has perspective, self-made. He came from nothing. He came from abject poverty. He came from having a mother who had a serious addiction problem. This guy is the personification of America, the personification, the quintessence of the American dream. You can come from nothing. We don't care where you come from. It all matters where you're going, how you carry yourself, your character, your wherewithal, who you are, what your values, your principles. That's what matters. Your integrity, your ethos. Oh, I love this guy. He's so fantastic. But that's not all. He was visiting a factory here in Canton, Ohio during this speech when the reporter asked him about this Cincinnati incident, and they also asked him about Epstein. One reporter had the audacity to say, "Is Trump hiding this? Is Trump suppressing this?" Check out JD Vance's rip-roarious perfect response.
Hi, Mr. Vice President. Julie Carr-Smythe from the Associated Press. I guess I'm going to be that person. There are some protesters outside accusing the GOP of protecting pedophiles, and we're wondering what you think are the reasons the U.S. government should shield the client list of Epstein from the public, and what you have to say about any relevance to that here today.
Well, let me say just a couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information, and frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff. You've got to compile that stuff. You've got to redact some victims' names so that you protect the victims. But the president has been very clear. He wants full transparency. He's asked that from the Attorney General. And I know, because I talk to her all the time, the Attorney General is hard at work on that issue right now. But I think I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years, under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case. He's going to keep on being an advocate for full transparency, but while we're focused on that case, Donald J. Trump is also worried about making sure these great workers get more take-home pay and better jobs, and that's the focus of the administration.
You remember when I said that? I mean, how many videos I've done on this? You remember when I said that very exact same thing? Great minds think alike. Oh, I love J.D. Vance. He has been misinformed, by the way. I mean, Trump makes it seem like he said some things like nobody cares, it's a hoax. He's been misinformed, but he's tackling really, really huge global issues. I mean, he just passed and got a deal, the greatest deal in the history of mankind with the EU. He's literally reorchestrating global in U.S.'s favor. He's closing our border. He's meeting ceaselessly, tirelessly with Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Japan. He's meeting with England, Keir Starmer, the EU. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, the guy he never sleeps. So this whole Epstein thing, when you're so focused on really, these are just monumental issues. Now, I'm not dismissing or being flippant about Epstein, but you can tell a guy like Trump, it's like, man, I'm doing all this stuff. Why are we focusing on this? I get why he would say that. He's wrong when he says nobody cares about it. He's wrong when he says it's a hoax. It's not a hoax, but I get where he's coming from, and J.D. Vance just hit the nail right on the head. Speaking of Trump and Epstein, here's a quick clip of Trump doubling down on what he said the other day, giving names to the Epstein list, including Larry Summers and Bill Clinton. Watch this.
That's such old history, very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Here is Trump, which is probably the most controversial thing that he drops today, implicating that. And by the way, Michael Cohen, who is probably, I said this in yesterday's video, probably the most staunch hater of Trump, even admitted in his 20 plus years of working with him, Epstein never came up. Epstein, the relationship was never anything that was even a subject of conversation or topic of conversation. But here's Trump saying that they planted his name in the Epstein files. Listen to this.
In the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name?
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. It's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this: those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey, they were run by Garland, they were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, they can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Like, as an example, Christopher Steele, a person you know well, happens to be from your country. But Christopher Steele, as an example, wrote a book, a dossier. We call it the fake news dossier. And the whole thing was a fake. The whole thing was a fake. They can put things in the file that are fake. But those files were run by bad, sick people. If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was killing Joe and then he gave out because he was 25 points down? And then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about it. She was a horrible vice president. She was a border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we're done. But she was the border czar. Her name was Kamala. Nobody knows her last name. It was Harris, but nobody knew her last name. So I ended up, how would you like to end up in a race where you're killing somebody, you're beating him, and then they say, all right, we'll take him out. He's not working. Let's put somebody else. And then she had a 6-week honeymoon. It was amazing. They predicted she would have a 6-week honeymoon, and she did. And then she got slaughtered. But think of it. Those files were run by these people. They were run by my enemy. If there was anything in there, they would have used them for the election.
He's not saying anything wrong. He's not saying anything that's inaccurate. That's 100% true. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at him. They would have definitely released that if there was something incriminating with him, and they could have released only the parts that incriminated him. But he wasn't in the Epstein files. He wasn't at the island. Bill Clinton was 28 times, and God knows how many people. Bill Gates, Kevin Spacey, all these people were there. So he's absolutely right about that. Do American people want to know about this? Is this a hoax? It's not a hoax. American people want to know this. We don't care about a dead guy. We care about the victims of these demonic, evil human beings who robbed kids of their innocence in the most cruel way imaginable. I can't wait to get your thoughts on all this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, tap that thumbs up. It helps us out immeasurably. It doesn't cost you a thing. You can even do it with your TV remote. If you love our 100% original Nez Nation merch, like this hat right here, we got everything. Check out our shop in the link down below, in the comments, and in the description. Make great gifts. They're original, designed here in the United States. You can't miss it. You got to love it. Check out these videos also as well, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.